Games Brains are happening in life here. We're with another flashback. Episode 20, we're looking at another Resident Evil game. Yes, another Resident Evil game. But we had to touch the big ones. Although notice we're avoiding 2. Do you know why I'm avoiding 2?
Because we'll just praise it and praise it and praise it.
Because of the remake.
And also the remake.
How do you talk about Resident Evil 2 now with that remake so fresh?
Very difficult.
Very difficult.
Hard to criticise anyway.
But we are talking about Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4, third-person shooter, survival horror video game, developed and published by Capcom, of course. The 6th major installment in the Resident Evil series. It was originally released for the Gamecube in 2005. Development began for PlayStation 2 in 1999, but it underwent a long development during which 4 proposed versions were discarded. Now, there's important about that. That's why I've left it in here.
Yeah.
And the game was announced as a GameCube exclusive as part of the Capcom 5.
Damn exclusives.
Yeah, but we got 0 thanks to that exclusivity, so don't complain. And the HD remake.
That's true.
But a PlayStation 2 version was actually announced before it was even released. So that was a weird exclusivity.
Yeah.
It's been ported to everything. Windows, Wii, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and in downsized versions for your mobile as well.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
It's there. Resident Evil 4, it's one of the most famous. I believe it's the biggest, best-selling Resident Evil game to date. I think I read earlier on.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as time goes by, my appreciation for the game just grows and grows.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very, very, not even nostalgic, fond. Where I look and go, I liked it at the time, and I still like it.
Yeah.
And when I played it most recently, when it was re-released for the One,
on the One, yeah.
Yeah, I was still like, yeah, this is good.
It still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to just appreciate like how much it revolutionized the Resident Evil franchise.
Oh yeah.
And action games as a whole.
Yeah.
Because like so many things introduced, like the whole over-the-shoulder camera angle. You know, it's genius, man. Like, no one ever thought of that beforehand. And just to think that it went from Resident Evil, you know how 1, 2, and 3 was with the static cameras and the tank controls, and they just threw it all in the bin, man, and just went from fresh.
Started again.
You know, and it just crazy.
I wrote it's a radical departure, but it was needed to freshen up the series.
But was it needed? I mean, were the games at that time selling poorly? Or?
No, but I think because they had already had so many of that style, I think it needed something new. Yeah. And as we've seen, this would not be the last time that Resident Evil Capcom would have to freshen the series. Yeah. They would then, after hitting success with 4, get obsessed with that style for too long until they had to refresh it all for 7. So do you know what I mean? They know they're good at eventually realizing that it's time to move on. You know?
Yeah, has a really like fantastic introductory sequence with the entering the village. And,
you're talking about the entire opening segment all the way to the point of the bell being rung, yeah?
I just love how it doesn't really like hold your hand or tell you what to do in that situation. You know, you're kind of like Leon, where his car just crashed, he's crawled out of that like cliffside or whatever, and he makes his way forward, stumbles towards that little cabin, and then finds that person, and obviously that whole thing happens. And then he goes towards a village and uses binoculars, sees his like driver like burning on a pyre.
That's right, yeah.
And then like, but these just look like regular people. It's confusing as a Resident Evil fan, because you're like, where are the zombies at? You know?
Yeah, where are the zombies at?
Just like crazed villagers or what? You know? And they are to an extent, but obviously as it goes on, you find out they do have some kind of infection type thing. But
Los
yeah,
plagas.
I just like that whole sequence where you have to fight off the enemies. You have to barricade doors, put like shelving in front of the doors, and they still break it down. And obviously, when the chainsaw enemy turns up, I mean that is.
It almost seems because you don't know how you can get out. They won't. You're doing it for a good few minutes.
It doesn't tell you like survive for 5 minutes or whatever. You're just like, when's this going to end? And it's very very tense. When they start like climbing up the ladders and the windows, like it's just. Like they really like went all out with that.
They really did, yeah. I always thought it's good forward movement, story-wise, world-wise. It's good forward movement of the story and world building. Meaning, Umbrella had been after the destruction of Raccoon City and all that. They'd been found out. We needed to then move it forward and how it was going to incorporate larger scale. So that while it's localized in a Spanish village and all that. You saw something bigger going on, and realised, actually, it's outside America. It was moving the story forward with Leon having to protect the president's daughter and all that. It was cleverly done. Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It took it to an even bigger scale, like the whole Resident Evil mythos.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's that then.
No, it's not. You already mentioned fluid controls.
No, I meant like that's that talking about like how great of a game should we get onto like the likes and dislikes and whatnot.
We are on the likes.
Or on the dislikes then.
No, I haven't finished the likes.
All right, what else do you like about it?
Yeah. We already mentioned fluid controls. These can be ramp up responsive.
Yeah.
The earlier thing I mentioned where 4 proposed versions was discarded. Do you know that we got Devil May Cry out of this? Have you heard this, yeah?
I don't think so.
So, for one of these 4 versions was for an action game. It was kind of gothic architecture and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
With a character that was designed to be more invincible and attacky and stuff like that. Yeah. That was discarded because it didn't fit Resident Evil.
Really?
Was then passed away and still developed on. That character became Dante.
Well, I can see how Leon and Dante are kind of similar.
That became Devil May Cry. We got Devil May Cry. A failed version of Resident Evil 4 was Devil May Cry. And look at, there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Now we can do the dislikes.
Okay.
Right, we both got it.
What?
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, not that there's a lot to dislike about Resident Evil 4, just like nitpicky things, but...
Nitpicky things, but we've both got it, right? We've both got the same one.
Yeah, do you want to say it in 3? 1, 2, 3?
Ashley.
Yeah.
Of course!
Yeah, I hate how annoying and helpless Ashley is, obviously.
Oh.
All she does is whine and make herself a constant headache for the player, you know, which is the worst kind of, you know, tag along in any game, you know.
Leon!
Leon! Leon! Leon! Leon! I can hear her scream.
Instantly.
Yeah.
It's
Leon,
massive
help.
part of Resident Evil 4 is escorting her. A massive escort mission. And I'm sure you'll 100% agree with this. Get through the game, get that suit of armour unlocked, and stick her in it.
There's nothing funnier than when you have that on and seeing the enemies trying to pick her up and having her constantly drop.
Oh, so brilliant.
I always used to like have fun with it, not with the steel armour, but before when they would like carry her away and let them get far enough with her and then just shoot them in the ankles before they would get to like where they were.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just to screw with them and like make her think like she was getting taken away.
And have you ever did this? When Ashley's wearing a suit of armour, have you ever tried to shoot her in the face? So her visor's up.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, that's brilliant! It
snaps down.
That's really
that's
clever.
quite clever.
But it's like Capcom knew like how annoying escorting her was. That's why they gave you that.
They added all that stuff.
They knew that. That was annoying. You know?
It's a good reward. It's you know we used to get rocket launchers back in the day. Here's something that is really useful for you.
It made it very like
easy.
It was very helpful, especially on the professional difficulty, where like if she had been able to put a hit, she probably would have died like instantly.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's why they added into that. You know.
The final boss, Sadler.
Yeah.
Not a good end boss. I actually find that one of the most underwhelming moments of the game. Don't like it's a final boss.
Is it? Yeah. It's not
it's on that weird
very
gantry.
Yeah, you got to press the button to lower the...
And swing the thing into him, and it's just not done that well.
Yeah.
Krauser and Leon's backstory.
Oh, right.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
That's not...
I felt like I was watching a movie where they had edited parts out.
You'd missed like a couple of scenes along the way. Or
yeah, like
maybe missed a game.
Yeah, like what? How do Leon and Krauser know each other? What's this history about?
Been a long time, comrade. Krauser. I died in a crash 2 years ago. Is that what they told you? You're the one who kidnapped Ashley.
Yeah, I mean, Leon obviously he went from Resident Evil 2, and then like was he in the army or something in between?
He calls them comrade, like they were together. I presume they were in special forces together.
Maybe when Leon was training after Resident Evil 2 to become like, because I don't know. But yeah, I always find it kind of funny that like Resident Evil 4 gets like a free pass on like the ridiculousness factor and scale.
Oh yeah.
Of Resident Evil, like Resident Evil 5 and 6, they get so much shit for how over the top and ridiculous they are. But there's just so much cheese and silliness in Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you fight a bloody troll. You know?
You do fight a troll. In fact, it's the first time the troll turns up. Yeah.
Also, talking about Leon, like just the whole story of him being hired to save the president's daughter. That just seems kind of funny in itself. Like, what a funny premise.
It is, isn't it?
Like,
one guy, off you go.
Yeah, he's going to save the president's daughter. It just sounds like a really cheesy movie.
It does sound like something an action movie from the mid 90s.
I just think it gets a bit of a pass.
Starring Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't like criticize it more for its silliness, because it has all that over the top like nature that the other games kind of have. I mean, it doesn't have any boulder punching. As you running from boulders. And,
it does, which ties into one of my major dislikes. Yes. QTE events that can kill you instantly.
Yeah.
Fuck QTE events that if you're not quick enough, or or tap fast enough that can kill you instantly.
Also, it was one of those QTE things, I think, where like the button would always change.
Yep.
Like each time you played it, it would not be the same whenever.
It could be the two together or two of the other ones. It would never always be the same. You're right.
I
Yeah.
remember on GameCube, like it would have you running, and then the last thing motion you'd have to do is you'd have to like press a button. Like on GameCube, it would be like the two triggers.
Yeah.
Or something. And that's really hard to like pull off. You don't usually use the triggers much on
That's
GameCube.
right. Yeah. You've been tapping away as well, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, don't tap.
Yeah.
Hit. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about favourite moments after, I guess.
Yeah, I'll just wrap up with my last dislike then, which is simply what we kind of talked about at the start. Capcom took the success of this game and lost a fucking plot going forward.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And I guess also, I mean, one last thing is that the game, especially on lower difficulties, is a little forgiving with like ammo and healing items.
I would argue this calling this a survival horror.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Early on, like you're like, oh shit, I only got handgun ammo. But then as it goes on, if you're really good at accumulating like the treasure and the money and stuff like that, you can like buy like healing items galore. And
I've never felt in danger.
Yeah.
Never.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, the harder difficulty has its challenge, of course.
Because you can die within a matter of hits.
Yeah. But even then, it's like not too unforgiving with it.
No, and
stuff.
remember as well, your
like
health upgrades as well.
Yeah. And obviously, like you can, if you have enough money, you can buy rocket launchers.
Yeah.
Which like you can one hit kill bosses.
You can one hit kill bosses. Yeah.
Yeah. With that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favourite moments, scenes, bits of music. You already mentioned the opening village section. I had it down as well. The arguably first 15, 20 minutes of Resident Evil 4 is... Ooh, yeah, it's
very
good.
Strong opening.
Very, very good. But weird, you talked about that defence part, but you didn't mention the best defence part in the game. It's the cabin defence in the rain.
That's really good, yeah.
That is one of the most, and that's so tense.
That's harder because that's when you're against the enemies where like the heads.
Yeah, the actual
tentacle head ones.
Yep.
Like the more upgraded ones, so it's much harder. Yeah.
Yeah, love that one though. Love it.
No matter what you do in that section, they will swarm you. They will get into the house.
You just got.
You will get stuck in a corner with like 10 of them coming upstairs.
Yeah.
No matter what you can do, you can't stop it basically.
And it's almost like you end up. It's like a horror movie where maybe you're trying to defend downstairs, and every so often kicking ladders down from the top, but you're forced back and upstairs towards the cupboard where Ashley's hiding, and you're just in that corner until they're hoping that eventually it's going to stop.
Save some grenades, man.
Yeah. I mentioned Sadler being an unimpressive boss fight. However, Salazar is a great boss fight.
That's the one you can defeat him with a single rocket.
Yeah, if you open the door and shoot his head straight away, you can beat him in one. But I love the visual. I mean, the character was wacky as fuck.
It's a cool. Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, there's exaggerated things in the game, but yeah, it's a cool battle.
Yeah, it is cool.
There's actually a good variety to the boss battles in the game, I thought.
Yeah, because even Krauser, who I think's a shit boss battle, it's different.
Yeah, and they are, I think, effective at placing you in like positions where you have your back to a wall with not much movement to maneuver.
Yeah,
help create some very tense moments. You know, like the battle on the lake with the boat. Is
of course, the beastie in the water.
Yeah, so they're all quite unique battles.
Yeah.
Talking of the enemies in the game, one of my favourite enemies in Resident Evil, like as a whole, is the Iron Maiden or Regenerador. Yeah, the Regenerator. Yeah.
Those things. Probably the scariest villain in the game.
I think they might be one of the scariest enemies put in a game ever, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's this really tense and creepy music that plays when they're nearby.
And the breathing.
Yeah, when they're close by, you can hear their shaky breathing. It just never fails to get my blood pumping when you hear it. And they're like a bastard to kill as well. Like you can like blast off their like lower body, and they'll still like flop towards you and come after you. Like and
then start regenerating their limbs. You need the sight, the thermal imagery sight, to see these creatures that are attached to them.
Yeah, and if you shoot them, you can actually kill it and take it down. But yeah, I just think they're really awesome.
And the death scene that happens if you get killed by one of them is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So
some of the death sequences.
The Iron Maiden ones, particularly the spiked ones, and they'll grab hold of you, and those spikes will shoot out.
There's a lot of cool death animations in it. Like you can literally get your head decapitated by the chainsaw wielding gun.
Yeah.
And it's very graphic, you know.
It really is, it's full on, Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff.
Musically, it's got some memorable music. Like this, again, savoury music.
Yeah.
It's it has that perfect calming like feel to it. You get out of the chaos for a second. Obviously, You know, the merchant is obviously really memorable. That was a cool system. It introduced a whole new inventory system.
Which still, like I said, it required you to think about what you were carrying,
like,
but a little bit of freedom.
Yeah, it's just obviously such a great game that we've gone from on the dislikes, and we're somehow talking about things we liked about it again. And my last one is again a bit of a like, but I like how no matter what happens, Leon's hair just looks fabulous the whole time. Gotta love it, man.
Very, very good. Well, and Ada in her dress, of course, as well. Running around an island in the high heels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Classy.
That was kind of cool. They adding in her like also alternate scenario type of thing.
Yeah, of course. The extra later versions would have the extra stuff with Ada.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually cool. Yeah, kind of gave a little bit of insight into how she was getting to certain locations. Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
but it was just interesting to see Leon and Ada and stuff in this update with updated graphics, because before then we had just the more old-fashioned type thing. You know,
it was a step forward.
Yep.
There we go. There's our flashback. Thank you for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. That's it.